Welcome inside the Calgary Olympic Oval on the campus of the University of Calgary, Canada's Wild Rose country, the province of Alberta. And what a weekend it has been in the latest installment of the ISU World Cup Speed Skating Circuit. A world record on Saturday for Davide Giotto. The winning streak continues for Jordan Stolz, and we also saw Miho Takagi's winning streak come to an end. What lies in store on Sunday, I think we all know what it's going to be. A whole lot of excitement, a whole lot of action, and certainly, potentially, some more history. Hi everybody, Gavin Day here, excited to be on the call as another weekend of ISU speed skating action wraps up inside the Calgary Olympic Oval. It's a facility that was really just meant to last 25 years, but here we are closing in on 40 years since the 1988 Winter Olympics. And the old barn is still making history. Yesterday, a world record. Could we see one today? Maybe. Question mark. Anything is possible when Jordan Stolz is in a race. Stolz has the track record in the men's 500 meters in Calgary, and it's just a few hundredths of a second off of the world record. But we've got one world record from Davide Giotto. We'll see what lies ahead. But first, with the women's 500 meters, and frankly, it's a wide open field. A look at the standings right now. Yukino Yoshida leading the way. A couple of victories on the World Cup circuit. Angelika Wojcik, a couple of medals. Aaron Jackson, a win. Dion Voskamp, Suzanne Schulting, Kimmy Getz, Kim Minson, all medalists so far. Just looking, you'll see the start lists. Every single one of the skaters in the final three pairs has medaled this season on World Cup. And we have the world champion, Femke Kok, in the first pair. So we're just going to get right down to it in a matter of moments. A look at some of those pairs. Yoshida, Wojcik in the final pair. Suzanne Schulting, Kimmy Getz, Aaron Jackson, Dion Voskamp. My, oh my. Doesn't need much more hype than that. Back on the World Cup circuit. A happy new year for the World Cup side of things. We were on the call for the European Championships recently as well, but now back to action with everyone from around the world. Now getting right into it. Wang Jingxiqian from China, and Femke Kok, the 24-year-old from Drachten, world champion in this distance.
From the Netherlands, Femke Kok.
Kok silver at the European Sprint Championships. Might she be rounding into form as we break into 2025? Cleanly away. It was part of that Dutch sweep at the European Championships. Jutta Leerdam, Femke Kok, and Suzanne Schulting. And through 100 meters, Kok 10.43. Wang will be chased down on that backstretch on the crossover. That's going to be a very good draft. Femke Kok getting all the way sucked in there before tucking into the inner lane. She will lead things around, win the first pair by a healthy margin. Let's see what kind of time she will set. And Femke Kok 37.01. That time 26.58. So 37.01. Just, it's not quite an apples to apples comparison, but a half a second faster than both of her times set at the European Championships in Tialf earlier this month. Kok winning both of those 500 meters, and Jutta Leerdam taking both of the 1,000 meters.
We now move to the second pairing.
Pair number two, Karolina Bosiek
from the country
of Poland, and Sophie Varmut, 22-year-old German from Erfurt. Look at Bosiek, a skater often jumping up and down between the A and B division. Varmut is a former world junior medalist in the 500 meters, picking up a bronze medal a couple of years ago, 22 out of Erfurt, which is the home of one of the speed skating ovals in Germany, which is where a lot of those, it was Inzell actually, was where those fast times were being set back in the fall, but they have that infrastructure in Germany. It is Bosiek leading things around. Varmut with some work to do on the inner lane. It is Karolina Bosiek, skater from Poland, personal best 37.92, and she beats it by 0.06 of a second. Not fast enough to beat Femke Koch. Look at that, 0.8 of a second slower than Femke Koch's time. Might that be a dark horse for today? Always have to keep an eye on those personal best times. Calgary, the fast ice, that almost never-ending battle between the two sides boasting the world's fastest ice between Calgary and Salt Lake City. Salt Lake really gained the upper hand, but
The third pairing at
Calgary does have some of those records. The men's team sprint, and as we saw yesterday, Davide Giotto getting the 10,000 meter record. That one was in Beijing, so it wasn't really wrestling a world record back from Salt Lake City. Next pair you see, Vanessa Herzog, Chen Ying Chu from Chinese Taipei.
Ready.
Herzog, the 29-year-old out of Innsbruck, still working to find that form. At her fastest, at her best, she is world class to say the least. And just imagine having the likes of Vanessa Herzog skating at her fastest in the mix of a very wide open women's 500 meter field. But it is Chen at the moment moving into the inner lane, and she will get ahead of Herzog. A little wobble, not able to really handle the speed, and it is Chen leading the pair. Herzog is closing, going to run out of time though, and Chen will move into second, Herzog in fourth. And you know, the time for Femke Koch, that might last for a little while. Koch missed time with a virus through the first half of the season. She really did not seem out of place in Heerenveen not too long ago. And once you're in the first pair, that's going to stand for a while. Brittany Bowe now, the great American veteran, on the inner lane.
You know what's coming,
And
don't
it
you?
will
In
be
the outer lane,
Carolina
from the
Hiller.
great country of Canada, Carolina.
Not too far from her home of Prince George in British Columbia, just a little bit further west of Calgary.
Ready.
Everybody safely away. Is Hiller quick out of the gates. I imagine we will see her in that Canadian team sprint side coming up in just a little bit, and she goes faster by about 0.03 of a second in the green. But that lap is where things will prove to be decisive. She maybe gets a bit of a draft behind Bowe down that back stretch. Bowe trying to just hang on a little bit. Hiller almost side by side. Here comes Brittany Bowe, and it is going to be Bowe taking the pair. 37.89 for fourth. Hiller a 37.95 for fifth. So that lap time, 27.55. Not able to match the blistering opening that she had. It is Though winning the pair, and it's still atop the leaderboard. Femke Kok right back to the top of the leaderboard as if she has not been away at all. That's the difference of a few hundredths of a second right there.
In the inside lane from the Netherlands,
Jutta Leerdam does have the silver medal from Beijing in the 500 meters earlier this season.
Christina Saleva.
Christina Saleva, Kazakhstan.
Ready.
And we do have a false start. I won't hazard a guess, we'll wait for the flag. You see the red flag, that means the outer lane. That is Saleva. You be the judge. Very, very slight move, I guess. False start. Now everyone's on eggshells a little bit more here.
Ready.
Away cleanly. Saleva quick away. Leerdam, as we know, takes these big long strides. She really is suited for that 1,000 meters in winning the European Sprint Championships. It was Kok winning the 500s, Leerdam winning the 1000s. Leerdam just has that top end speed with the silver medal from the World Cup in Beijing, but it is Saleva on the inside right now, ahead in this pair. Seemingly taking to this Calgary ice, bringing it to the line, and it will be Saleva going second, 37.25. That's about a quarter of a second off Femke Kok's time. And Saleva, that's 0.05 of a second off of her personal best. We've had 3 already today. So not a bad race from Saleva. Just looking at some of her 500 meter results for the season. She does have a B division win from Nagano, one of the stops in Nagano.
1, 2, 3.
Into second right now.
In the inside lane from the country of China,
We have Tian Rining, China, and Kaya Ziomek-Nogal, who picked up a gold medal
in the outer lane
earlier
from
this
Poland,
season
Kaya
in Beijing.
Ziomek-Nogal.
Go to the start. Ready.
Ziomek-Nogal, her story, had a child after the Beijing Olympics, back and skating at the very best, and their fastest opening 100 so far by 0.07 of a second. Tian also right there. It's a good draft bounce down the back stretch. Ziomek-Nogal was 4th at the European Sprint Championships in Heerenveen, was 2nd behind Kok in one of the 500 meters. She's leading this pair. Will she go fastest? No, by 0.5 second. She goes into 3rd, a 37.49. So the time, Femke Kok set back in pair number 1, 37.01. Still holding up as the time to beat, but here come some heavy hitters in the final 4 pairs. And so of the 8 remaining skaters, 7 have been on the World Cup podium this year. And the other one, Kurumi Inagawa, has a medal from the 4 continents at the start of the year. So here we go. Kim Min-soon, the very best. She is an absolute world beater. Hasn't had quite the results this season as the last season, but we know what she's capable of, and there is the aforementioned Kurumi Inagawa of Japan, the quarterfinal heroes.
Go to the start. Ready.
Kim, who last year struggled with some new boots, went back to the old ones, and then suddenly found her winning races. This year, not the same. Bronze medal from Nagano, her only hardware, but both of these skaters with very, very solid openings, a matter of a few hundredths of a second behind the fastest opener so far. That belongs to Kristina Silieva. It is Inagawa with a slight lead right now. She will take this one to the line. Kim fading just a little bit. Inagawa 37.01 the time to beat. Not going to do it. She will go second, 37.24. Just a few hundredths of a second separating second and third right now. So it's 37.24. New personal best for Kurumi Inagawa. What was great about the races in Heronvane, there would be a fanfare, and every time there's a personal best, we knew we could hear it, and so that made things quite a bit easier. Inagawa, the previous personal best is 37.36, this one 37.24. So 1/100th of a second ahead of Kristina Silieva right now. And the final 3 pairs, all of them have been on the podium this year. Dion Voskamp of the Netherlands, and the one, the only, Aaron Jackson. Just assume heavy hitters the rest of the way.
Go to the start. Ready.
Voskamp a bronze from Beijing. Jackson a gold from Nagano in the earlier stops this season. Currently 3rd and 4th in the 500-meter standings, and Voskamp goes one of the faster openings so far, and Aaron Jackson, I don't know what's going on there. Well, I assume there's just skating for points right now, but it is Voskamp, 37.01, still the time to beat. It is her teammate Femke Kok atop the leaderboard. Voskamp to the line, not going to do it. Half a second off the pace, and she will go to 6th place. Jackson at 40.26, and we did see earlier this season Laurent Dubreuil skating with an injury just to make the points, and you just see it instantaneously off the line. Jackson not pushing it too much, and we obviously hope everything is fine with her, and she just going through the motions to pick up some World Cup points. The final 2 pairs, Suzanne Schulting and Kimmy Getz.
The Netherlands, Suzanne Schulting.
Of course, we know her. Might she be in Dutch Lions orange once the short track World Tour resumes next month? That is Kimmy Getz. Both of them on the medal on the podium this year. Schulting a silver, Getz a bronze.
Ready.
Schulting in 5th in the overall World Cup standings of the 500 meters right now. A bronze, 3rd place at the European Sprint Championships. Very even opening. 0.08 of a second separating them. Both a bit further adrift from some of the faster openings we've seen so far. But also, as we've seen so far, starting is one thing, finishing is another. Getz will get into the inner lane. Schulting is just past there. It's very close. I think Getz has it for the moment. Kimi Getz to the line, will go 7th fastest, 8th for Suzanne Schulting. A matter of 0.08 of a second between the two of them. And so just so much parity in this women's 500 meters. Where one weekend you could be on top, the next weekend you could be just hanging on to the top 10. Also so much difference in where skaters are, what they're peaking for. Some of the European skaters peaking for those European championships and still have that form, while some of the others are maybe in the midst of a training block getting ready for next weekend in Milwaukee. The other events still to come, and then of course the World Championships in March. Last pair, the top two in the World Cup 500 meter standings, Angelika Wojcik
And in the outside lane from
Yoshida.
Japan, Yukino Yoshida.
Go to the start. Ready.
Yoshida, a win in Nagano, a win in China. Both of those events, they did 2 500 meters in each weekend. Wojcik picked up a silver in Nagano, a bronze in Beijing. And it is Wojcik in the green through 100 meters, but it's just a matter of a few hundredths of a second, and she has the overall 500 meter leader bearing down on her. Yoshida into the inner lane, the 21-year-old. 2 wins on World Cup this season. It does not look like it's going to be a third. Femke Kok watching and waiting. Wojcik goes second. A 37.16. Wojcik celebrates 37.46, and welcome back, Femke Kok in pair number 1. What rust. She comes right back and jumps atop the podium. The world champion returns to the World Cup circuit and goes back to winning ways. So that will tighten up the overall 500 meter World Cup standings. Wojcik will close in on Yoshida a little bit. See how that all plays out once the points are factored in, but world champ, World Cup champ on this weekend. Just so exciting. So much depth in this women's 500 meter field. One weekend, there's one winner. The next several weekends, you can have a whole bunch of different ones. So there you have it. Femke Kok, 37.01. Angelika Wojcik in second, and Kurumi Inagawa finishes in third. Christina Silaeva jumped up for 4th place, and then Yukino Yoshida in 5th. Update those World Cup standings. And there you go. Yoshida still on top for the moment, but a matter of 13 points difference to Wojcik with that 2nd place finish. Dion Voskamp of the Netherlands sitting in 3rd. The Dutch crews made the trip over to Calgary, and so Femke Kok will get a victory interview. Take a quick pause. The men's 500 meters coming up. I'll be back with you for that one shortly.
2 minutes to the start. Perfect.
Now, the men's 500 meters, and yeah, as if you needed reminding, Jordan Stolz leading the 500-meter standings. Yenning DeBow in second. Cooper McLeod of the United States in third. And if you're wondering when some of the heavy hitters are coming up, maybe keep an eye out for Damian Zurek of Poland in the fourth pairing. Canada's Laurent Dubreuil saw him yesterday in the 1,000. He looked to be back healthy. He had a groin injury. He is in pair number 7. And yeah, there's the big one. Pair 8, Jordan Stolz, Marijn Seperkamp. And Kim Jun-ho, Tatsuya Shinama, another one to watch. And then Yenning DeBow. Is this his day? finally, he will go in the final pair to create perhaps some high drama. And just a reminder, since we now have to watch, the world record is 33.61, still held
And here we
by
go.
Pavel
In
Kalishnikov.
period number 1.
And Stoles, he's at the point where he's breaking his own track records. His track record 33.69, so a few hundredths of a second off from the world record. But let's get right into it. Altai Jardenbekuli is in pair number 1 of Kazakhstan at Lian Ziwen of China.
Go to the stop. Ready.
Now, both of these skaters, predominantly we used to see them in the B division, and so we're a chance to see how they look in the top division. Lian yesterday, 14th in the 1,000 meters. It's Jardenbekuli out to an early lead by about 11 hundredths of a second. I will go out on a limb and say I don't think the winning pair will come from the opening one this time around. Although it would be exciting if they did. Of course, Femke Koch doing that just a few moments ago in the women's pair. It's Jardenbekuli leading to the line. And he will go 34.73. Lap time there, 24.87. 34.73. Watch the celebrations. Yes, indeed. That is the first personal best of the afternoon in the men's 500 meters. He knocked out about a quarter of a second, previous 1:35.08. So that's his first ever time under 34.73. The Calgary ice, of course, at elevation. And some of the skaters, you had read that they say it has been skating fast this weekend. So since we are maybe on world record watch,
in the inside lane from the United States of America, Zach
the ice is going
Stoppelmoor.
quickly. Anyway, pair number 2, Zach Stoppelmoor of the United States, Cho Sung-yuk of Korea
And
Republic.
in the outer lane from Korea, Cho Sang-yuk.
Go to the stop. Ready.
And there is a false start. White means inner lane. That'll go to Stoppelmoor. But of course, both skaters will now have to watch any just the slightest of move as he takes that down start. And a lot of the U.S. skaters make. A lot of them with that inline background.
False start in a lane.
And
Go
take 2.
to the stop. Ready.
This time, they do get away cleanly. Very even opening 100 meters. Stoppelmoor and Cho bang on even, 9.82, both of them in the green. Identical openers. Now it's all down to the lap time. Cho maybe gets a bit of that draft, but Stoppelmoor got out into the outer lane in a hurry, and Cho tucked in. Right now, it is Cho Sang-yuk in the lead. Stoppelmoor closing in just a bit. It's going to be Cho taking it, both going faster, 1 and 2. 34.55, 34.65 for Stoppelmoor. Stoppelmore's time is identical to his personal best. 34.65. He did that previously in Salt Lake City, almost a year to the day, actually. Interesting bit of symmetry there. But those two move atop the leaderboard for the moment.
We now move to the third pairing of 10 pairings in the inner lane from China.
Gao
Gao
Qingyu
Qingyu.
and Kuratsubo Kurashiro. So, looking at guys who could possibly come away as winners.
Katsuhiro Kuratsubo.
Gao,
Go
certainly
to the
one to
stop.
watch.
Ready.
Certainly kind of off-putting. So it's the third pair, and it's like, Gao Qingyu, the Olympic champion in the third pair? Okay, I guess, but let's see how he goes. Both of them well in the green. Gao by almost 0.4 of a second, 9.45. That is the fastest opener by far so far. Kuratsubo on the inner lane. Gao Qingyu well out in front. Kuratsubo is down, and he missed Gao, fortunately. Just saw it out of the corner of the screen. It's Gao. He will go fastest, but by only 0.05 of a second. He just hangs on. The opener was blistering the lap. He did just enough to hang on, and I don't know what he saw out of the corner of his eye, but Katsuhiro Kuratsubo at pretty full speed there on the corner. Going out, he is up, he is on his skates. Nice to see that he is fine. And he will go well off the pace, but kudos to him for getting up and finishing. Just getting a time there. It'll be interesting to see what happened. Gao, he doesn't really get down for his start. He's almost standing straight up. Be interesting to see what happened to Kuratsubo here, but you'll just see it out of the corner of the screen. There he goes. And you are flying there. Nice to see he is fine, though. Gao, have to wonder what he saw out of the corner of his eye, but he will go fastest for now. Observation. The young Japanese skater. I'll check to see that everything is back in place. And moving into the fourth pair. We'll just keep getting faster and faster. Current leader, Gao Qingyu. There is Dubreuil checking to see if he's okay. Nice from the Canadian Laurent Dubreuil. You all right? And Kuratsubo nods and says, yeah, I'm fine. Gets a nice pat there from Laurent Dubreuil. We'll go in the seventh pair. Here are the standings right now. Gao, Cho, and Stoppelmore. We are. Let's see. Just if you're following at home, there are 4 more pairs before Jordan Stolz. Incredible record of consecutive victories right now. Absolutely unstoppable. For the moment. That's still to come. Here we go. Damian Zurek. Certainly a man with international pedigree. He skated at those recent European Sprint Championships. finishing in 4th. So did Bjorn Magnusson. He was 10th at the European Championships.
Go to the stop. Ready?
Tim Herrenveen. Zurich was poised to be on the podium in those sprint championships. In the second day, the second 500, just something happened and he went a bit slower, fading to 7th. He rebounded to collect a 3rd in the second 1,000 meters, but that was enough to see him go to 4th. The opener, about a 1/4 of a second off the pace by Gao Qingyu, but as we know, Gao's lap wasn't the quickest. He lost a bit of time. It is Zurich coming around. Magnussen trying to keep it up. Keep it upright, and he does, but it is Zurich taking this pair, and he will go to the lead by 0.4 of a second. 34.07. Let me just see. Yes, a new personal best. By 0.04 of a second, Damian Zurich goes atop the leaderboard, throwing down a fast time. Skate from Zurich. Yeah, it was just that second 500 at the European Championships. It went a little bit slower, rebounded with a good 1,000, but was in 4th. But right now, Damian Zurich tops the leaderboard, and one of his compatriots is in the next pair, Marek Kania. And will be up against Sebastian Dinitz of the Netherlands.
And in the outside lane from the Netherlands, Sebastian Dinitz.
Go to the stop. Ready?
Testament to the depth of that Dutch program. Diniz wasn't even at the European Sprint Championships. Here he is back in Calgary. Both of them in the green. Faster openings, 9.59 for Diniz, 9.69 for Kania. Zurich threw down a heck of a lap in the last pairing to top the leaderboard. We'll see how these two go. The current leading time, will it be beaten? Can Kania beat his teammate? No, by 0.05 of a second. 34.43. So Kania will just slot in right behind Zurich, but for 3rd in Diniz, a new personal best. He goes from 34.70, it's now 34.41. So if we are on record watch, the ice seems quick. There are a lot of personal bests. I mean, it is the elevation ice. This is where these high altitude ice surfaces do set faster times, but we're looking for little moments that could prove to be the difference. We'll see. Anyway, next pair, Stefan Westenbroek of the Netherlands and Wataru Morishige of Japan.
And in the outer lane from Japan, Wataru Morishige.
Go to the stop. Ready?
Morishige, of course, does have victories in the World Cup in the 500 meters, part of pretty potent Dutch sprint side. Both of them in the green through the opening 100 meters, but it's a matter of a few hundredths of a second. 9.69, 9.71. Morishige might get a bit of a draft down the back stretch, but Westenbrook goes right into the outer lane, and so not much of a chance to get dragged on a little bit. This is a close pair. As you can see, Morishige in the lead right now. He will take it. He will go fourth. 34-4-1. And so that lap is proving to be a challenge for a lot of skaters. Damian Zurek back in pair number 4, still topping the leaderboard. Neither of these two men able to match. They were green through 100, but not when it mattered most at the end. 4th and 7th. And you'll get a nice ovation in the next pair for the Canadian sprint standard bearer these days, Laurent Dubreuil.
In the 7th pairing of 10 pairings, here it comes, ladies and gentlemen, in the inside lane. From the
Martin Leave of Estonia on the outer lane. Dubreuil seems to be back at his healthiest, nursing an injury before Christmas.
Martin
Leave. Face like stone, just looking right down the track.
Ready.
And a full start. And it will go to Dubreuil.
False start in a lane. Go to the stop. Ready.
And Dubreuil picked up a silver medal in Nagano, the first World Cup stop of the weekend, but he injured his groin at that event. He just kind of went through the motions and skated in Beijing to pick up World Cup points. Looking in fine form right here. Dubreuil with a 9-6 opener in the green by 0.13 of a second. Martin Leave bearing down on him. I'm not sure he is able to catch Dubreuil. Dubreuil looking very good. The time right now to beat 34.07. Dubreuil to the line. No! Slips to third, 34.14. An identical lap time by these two, 24.54. But wow, really showing Damian Zurek just threw down on his lap time. Still leading all the way from pair number 4. The man from Poland. So Dubreuil, quick opener, not able to keep it together on the lap. And the Canadians still looking for a first World Cup medal of the weekend. Did some looking at, it's been a while since the Canadian program was shut out of a World Cup weekend. But here we go. Jordan Stolz, really the only one people around the world in speed skating will be watching. Can he do it again? And it's Marijn Saperkamp of the Netherlands.
Go to the stop.
Will the streak continue? Here we go.
Ready.
Yesterday, it reached 18 for Jordan Stolz. Next weekend, he'll be skating at his home ice in Milwaukee. Through the opener, 1/10 of a second ahead. We do know Zurek threw down a heck of a lap time. Stolz, a 9.63 opening. Yesterday in the 1,000, it was his last lap that he absolutely dropped the hammer. He is leading around in the outer lane. Jordan Stolz. Is he going to go to the top of the leaderboard once again? Stolz to the line. Yes, by 0.2 of a second. 33.86. It's not quite his track record, that being 33.69. And so World Cup Watch will have to wait for another day with a 33.61 still that target. But Jordan Stolz with the 33.86. 2 pairs still to go. Going for 19 straight World Cup victories. And he put down track records the past 2 days. Might this one be beatable? Both of these men would like to have a say. Kim Jun-ho of Korea. And Tatsuya Shinama, perhaps one who could beat him. Silver and 2 bronze in the 500 meter on World Cup this season.
Ready.
Shinama is just so powerful. Both of them in the green. Fastest opener for Kim Jun-ho. Kim has a bronze from Beijing on World Cup this season. We know, of course, who won, but both of these men have some time to work with. Around the corner, Kim trying to stay up. Shinama with some work to do. It is going to be Kim leading this to the line. Can they beat Stolz? No! 34.17 for Kim Jun-ho. 34.37 for Shinama. 5th and 7th. So it's that lap. A lot of skaters going quickly through the opening 100 meters. They just cannot keep that speed ticking over. And that just means one pair remains. The supremely talented Dutch skater Jenning de Bo. European champion. Can't remember what they were saying in the middle. Is boom boom. Is this his time?
Our final pairing,
Can't last forever.
From the Netherlands.
Jenning de Bo would like to end the streak right now.
And in the outer lane from the
Cooper
United
McLeod,
States
of course.
America, Cooper McLeod.
Maybe a bit torn. I want to see a teammate streak continue, but you also want personal glory. Anyway, here we go.
Ready.
De Bo won every single distance at the European Sprint Championships. That was in Heerenveen. Now it's across the pond in North America. De Bo a couple hundredths of a second off the pace. 9.66 his opener. McLeod 9.69, so very even. De Bo will be in the outer lane, making the turn the final time. It is a close pair. The time to beat 33.86. Jenning de Bo to the line. No, he doesn't. He celebrates. It's 33.87. So close for Jenning de Bo, but the streak lives for Jordan Stolz. My goodness. How close is Jenning de Bo going to get? It might happen one day for him, but it's not today. And the streak continues for the great Jordan Stolz. Not a track record, but fast enough to win. he will be racking his brain, celebrating a second place. Of course, it's still a huge accomplishment for the young Dutch skater. But just, let's see the official time. It is a new personal best for Yenning DeBow, a 33.87. But it's 0.02 of a second behind Jordan Stolz. The gap is closing. Is next weekend the chance in Milwaukee? But oh, this is a fun time to watch. 19 in a row for Jordan Stolz. All the way down. The man from West Bend, Wisconsin adds another victory. And the legend grows. Stolz and DeBow, top two on the World Cup standings. Cooper McLeod in third. McLeod's time, by the way, 34.15. That put him into sixth place, a personal best for him as well. The world keeps trying. Maybe the world is getting closer. But another win for that man right there. And he just takes it so calmly and casually, doesn't it? Doesn't he? And another medal on the growing pile. We'll have to wonder where he keeps all those World Cup medals, because it's got to be a lot of extra weight right now. You see the ice resurfacers are out. We will change things up. It will be the mass start, first for women and then for men. That gets going in about 15 minutes. So take a quick pause wherever you may be. Lots more to come from Calgary.
Ladies and gentlemen, we now present the ISU World Cup Speed Skating Victory Ceremony for the winner of the women's 500 meters.
Mesdames et messieurs, nous présentons maintenant les gagnantes du 500 mètres femmes.
The medals will be presented by ISU representative Mr. Albert Hazelhoff. Our top three skaters will also receive delicious custom chocolates from Calgary's own The Chocolate Lab. Presented by the Mayor, City of Calgary, Jody Gondek. And joining the medalists today will be April Sun from the Itchy Band Speed Skating Club and Lucas Swan from the Calgary Speed Skating Association. In third place and winner of the bronze medal, skating a time of 37.24, representing Japan, Kirima Inagawa. In second place and winner of the silver medal of skating a time of 37.16, representing Poland, Angelika Wojciech. In first place and winner of the gold medal, skating a time of 37.01, representing the Netherlands, Hepki Kok. Congratulations to our ISU World Cup Speed Skating winner and all the medalists.
Félicitations à tous les médaillés.
Stay tuned for the men's 500-meter medal ceremony momentarily. Ladies and gentlemen, we now present the ISU World Cup Speed Skating Victory Ceremony for the winners of the men's 500 meters.
Mesdames et messieurs, nous présentons maintenant les gagnants du 500 mètres hommes.
The medals will be presented by ISU representative Mr. Albert Hasselhoff. Our top 3 skaters will also receive delicious custom chocolates from Calgary's own The Chocolate Lab, presented by Richard Laliberte, Chief Operating Officer, Savante. And joining the medalists today will be April Sun again from the Itchy Band Speed Skating Club and Lucas Wan from the Calgary Speed Skating Association. In third place and winner of the bronze medal, skating a time of 34:07, representing Poland, Damian Zurek. In second place and winner of the silver medal, skating a time of 33:87, representing the Netherlands, Jenny de Boer. Which is a personal best, and I understand unofficially a Dutch national record. And in first place, winner of the gold medal, skating a time of 33.85, representing the United States of America, Jordan Stolz. Congratulations to our ISU World Cup Speed Skating winner and all medals.
Félicitations à tous les médaillés.
What an afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. What an afternoon. The match is only third. What's about to take place? Men's half start. 20 skaters and NASCAR on ice. Along with according to plan, start at 2:11 in the field entry. Will now head down to the rival's way and call the play-by-play from the midfield. I'll give you race structure and
Just a few minutes away from the women's mass start. A look at the start list. The skaters do get introduced one by one, with the top ones, and then everybody else gets introduced a bit in a hurry.
Well, it's
We'll see.
2:07. This is broadcast all around the world, certainly the 27 countries that are being part of it, and they want to stay on time, on schedule. So let me shape for you what's about to take place. There are 20 skaters heading to the ice surface right now that will coast around in the inner
There we
lane.
go. Of course, you know how this works.
It's a 16-lap race.
Sprint points every couple of laps, every 4 laps. The last one is the one that really matters. And we shall see if anyone wants to go off on a flyer, try to tempt fate, see if they can't snatch a few of the sprint points, and then maybe hang on all the way. There is a look at the overall leader right now, Marika Gronewald. Stepped in, and Elisa Duell, who picked up a podium last season at a Mass Start World Cup and has essentially just slotted into that place that had been vacated on the Dutch program by Irene Schouten, who retired. But she is proving to be a very capable 1-2 punch in that program. Ramona Hardy, one of the Swiss skaters, wearing number 11. There is Caitlin McGregor. Plenty of family, likely watching in Calgary for McGregor. Father, hockey coach, was coaching in Switzerland when she was born.
Watch the strategy, watch the
And
skaters
so
and how they skate. It's going to be very exciting.
here
20
we
skaters,
go.
the best skaters
Of course,
in
they
the
will all
world.
be introduced first. So we'll throw it down to the ice as the skaters get
I'm
introduced.
going to turn it over to you, Leo, when you're ready to go. Referee Chia Nizoki and starter Kakura Nagati looking after this race. We have, by the way, 2 Canadians in this race. I should have mentioned that right from the beginning. Valerie Malte and Yvonne Blondin. Keep an eye on them.
Wearing helmet cover number 1 from the Netherlands, Marika Gronewald. Wearing number 2 from the Netherlands, Elisa Duell. Wearing number 3 from Canada, Valérie Monte. Number 4 from China, Yang Bingyu. From the USA, Mia Manganello. And from Japan, Momoka Horikawa. Rounding out the rest of the field, from Belgium, Sandrine Tass. From Switzerland, Caitlin McGregor. From Germany, Josie Hoffman. From Germany, Michelle Gurig. From Switzerland, Ramona Hardy. From Korea, Ji Woo Park. From Belgium, Fran Van Hoot. From the USA, Greta Myers. From Canada, Yvonne Blondin. From Poland, Natalia Jabrys. From China, Jen Wing Jin. From Norway, Aurora Grinden Lovas. From Korea, Jun Yi Kim. And from France, Violette Brun.
Never off to the fastest start. This is where the chess game begins. Le jeu commence.
To leave their starting positions, so no racing.
So
on
we'll
this
wait
lap.
to
Just gonna
see.
wind it up slowly.
To see when the racing really is off. Who will try to go on a flyer a bit? Who will launch the attack?
Come around through the home stretch.
And then always the big question after that is, what kind of organization will the chase take up? Sort of very much in a cycling race, where if the chase pack, the peloton, can't organize the chase efforts, where not everybody's doing enough work, that allows the breakaway to get away. And so the second gun, now the racing can begin. And Grunewald taking a pull on the front, but I'm sure she does not want to stay there for long. You want to sit in that draft, consolidate, save your energy. This has a long, long way to go. And so Grunewald happily just slipping right to the back. Eliza Duel, her teammate, on the front, and this is where the watching begins.
In Beijing, Ulrike Rüdenborg was the medalist.
So there is the first attack, and it's Mia Manganello of the United States pulling off maybe one you would not expect to see with such an early move. She is, of course, one of the more accomplished distance mass start skaters. So that one is quickly locked down, although there is a bit of a separation. 1 lap to go until the first sprint lap. 5 skaters up at the front. It is Michelle Udig of Germany picking it up. And we shall see if this really is a move that is good to go, or if they're just going for the points. It's Udig, it's Greta Myers of the United States. There are 4 skaters going for this sprint point. And we'll see who takes it. It is Udig, Jin Wenjing, Natalia Jaberzuk getting the points. Greta Myers in 4th, and now they had a gap built up. The big question remains, do they keep going? It is Myers pushing it. I don't think she has anybody willing to go in sort of a solo breakaway now. And it is a healthy advantage. It's just a long, long way to go. And so the back 3, I think, are just going to really wait up. And Myers might be saying, yeah, this is a bit too far for me. Though I could be wrong. You never know with these. What is in the game plan? What is in the strategy? And Myers has an advantage and maybe is a bit surprised at the gap she sees. Of course, the trio behind have a chance to each maybe take a pull and save some energy and consolidate. But Myers, I think she's found a tempo. She's found a rhythm that she likes. She's not going gangbusters. There is, of course, the risk of, you know, if the chase group makes a complete mess of things, anyone getting lapped, that leads to potential disqualification. That means 0 World Cup points. And so Myers in the driver's seat right now. We have to bet she's odds on to take sprint point number 2. She has them almost in her sights. The main field. They, of course, can turn it on at a moment's notice. Grunewald there is one of the Canadians in front right now, but Greta Myers looking like she will take sprint point number 2, putting the points in the bank. And so these sprint points really come in handy in events like an Olympics, where there is a semi-final and a final, because you get so many positions qualifying for the final. And outside of the big points at the finish line, it's the sprint points that really do come into play. So maybe not the most important thing for now other than ranking, but the sprint points do really come in handy at events we see down the line. And of course, in just over a year from now, the Olympic Games in Milan, that will likely have semifinals and finals. And so putting the experience, putting the opportunity into the memory banks. Greta Myers is holding on for now. And the chasing trio, not really quite sure what to do. Now this is starting to get interesting. Myers closing in on the rest of the field. They are going to have to wake up. There was a World Cup last season where a number of skaters lapped skaters right at the finish line. And then the officials took a whole lot of time determining, okay, who essentially got disqualified. So Greta Myers, of course, she has to hold this on. But right now, there's a lack of organization in the field. Third sprint point, Greta Myers out in front. Wouldn't this be a shock? And there's just a lot of standing and watching in the field right now. And Myers is just getting down to business. She will take sprint point number 3, and this is a huge advantage. At what point do we start to dream what a win this would be? What is left in the tank for Greta Myers? She is still just 20 years old. Former hockey skater. Usual member of the U.S. team sprint and team pursuit side. She's done both of it. And well, she still has the home stretch in sight. This would qualify as an absolute shock. This is a big, big margin. She has helmet number 14. Just looking at this too. She was 17th in Beijing, 9th in Nagano, 9th at the Four Continents in Japan to start the year. And Greta Myers, she's looking very composed. There's a little bit of a form break. Fatigue surely setting in now. Now the lights are on the main field. The chase is on. She has one to go. 1 lap to go. Greta Myers of the United States hanging on. Just keeping the legs ticking over, both arms going. I don't think she's going to be caught. What a result this would be. Greta Myers, 20 years old. She is going to win the mass start in Calgary. This will go down as an absolute shock. And it's Jing Wenjing and Michelle Udig, second and third from the original breakaway. The main group just never got the chase organized, and Greta Myers just kept skating. Wow. That smile will be painted on her face for days. Just 20 years old. A World Cup mass start victory for her. Her very first. Growing up in Lino Lakes, Minnesota. Went in the early breakaway. Won the first sprint, and when the decision was made to either sit back or go for it, she went. and it pays off in dividends. And then, of course, kudos Jin Wenjing of China and Michelle Udig of Germany. An unexpected podium, and one that is absolutely brilliant. There you go. How about that for the podium? Greta Myers, Jin Wenjing, Michelle Udig, 1, 2, and 3. Evany Blondet, the great mass start skater, did lead the charge from the main group, beating Marika Groenewold, 4th and 5th. Going all the way down. The day belongs to the youngster from the United States. This might have been actually the first sprint where she just decided to go for it. Then the final few strides, a chance, almost a victory lap. It was just that big of a margin, and it just wasn't coming down. You knew it was on at the second to last sprint point, where she still had 3/4 of a lap on the field, and they did not lead the chase in time. Greta Myers, a World Cup mass start winner, soaking it in. I'm sure it's still a surreal moment for her. Maybe asking her teammate Manganello, did I just win? Good luck to the men's race to try to match that. Start for the men will start in just about 7 minutes time, so quick pause and be back with you shortly. Tough act to follow, but the men will sure give it a try. Look at the start list. They, of course, will all be introduced one at a time. I think it's, what was it, the top 5 that they give the grand entrance to, and then they just start running through the rest of them. Some of the names, of course, to watch have the... It's easy to spot because they have the lower numbers on their helmets. Daniele Di Stefano, Bart Houlworth, the great Bart Swings, of course. Just getting out on the ice. And, of course, the great story from Nagano, Timothy Lubineau of France, winning the first mass start of the season. I remember him last season. Every race he would be the one going out on the attack, and I didn't get the fortune of calling that race from Nagano, but when I saw the result I went, did Lubineau finally win from a breakaway? And yes, he did. It was a late breakaway, and nobody was able to catch him. And a great win for that French program, of course, building with their own Winter Olympics on the horizon. A look at the Canadian.
Start. From the Netherlands, Bart Houlworth. From Italy, Daniele Di Stefano. From Belgium, Bart Swings. From France, Timothy Lubineau. From Italy, Andrea Giovannini. From Switzerland, Livio Wenger. And rounding off the rest of the field, from Germany, Friedhof Petzold. From Korea, Lee Seung-hoon. From Belgium, Indra Medal. From the Netherlands, Jorrit Bergsma. From Norway, Didrik Engstrand. From the USA, Ethan Sepperin. From France, Mathieu Bellois. From Austria, Gabriel Odor. From Czechia, Metode Hilek. From Germany, Felix Mali. From Norway, Alan Dahl Johansen. From Japan, Shomu Sasaki. From Canada, David Larue. And from Korea, Chung Jae-won.
So underway in the men's mass start, and it's certainly an unusual field. There are the likes of, the favorites, Bart Houlworth, Daniele Di Stefano, Bart Swings, Timothy Lubineau, Andrea Giovannini, Livio Wenger, the like. But then you throw in a Jorrit Bergsma, once upon a time 10,000 meter Olympic champion. Metode Hilek, the young Czech phenom. And it makes for an interesting race, to be sure. And it is Houlworth leading things around. He won in Beijing ahead of Swings and Di Stefano. And at number 1, as I mentioned, Timothy Lubineau ahead of Di Stefano and Houlworth. It's interesting, of course, about Lubinau's victory. There are no real training facilities in France. Lubinau going to Germany and the Netherlands to train. And there's the big question as they sort of look to venues for the 2030 games in that southeast part of France. There has been talk of sort of using the Oval Lingotto in Turin as the option. So, but the French program is wanting to build, of course. And here goes the attack, and look who it is. Timothy Lubinau, number 4 on the helmet. Off he goes, and as we've learned now, that's a dangerous man to go. Indra Medar of Belgium watching him. And this is an early attack for Lubinau, but it is on form for him. Medar trying to stay with. Fridtjof Petzold of Germany also trying to close the gap. And we will see if this is a race for the sprint point to shake out the legs a little bit, or if this is really a long range attack inspired perhaps by Greta Myers. Certainly the chase looks a lot more organized. To get that first sprint point. It is Petzold getting it, I believe. Yeah, now we'll see if they are working together. Petzold is in front. Lubinau from Arcachon in France, which is right on the west coast, far from Bordeaux. And yeah, this attack is real. The 3 working together. Everybody taking a turn. It's Lubinau taking a pull right now. And there's been no immediate reaction from the main field. And as we've learned, dangerous game indeed. And so actually it was Petzold 3rd at the first sprint point, Medar 2nd, and Lubinau taking it. And he's taking his pull right now. We'll see if they distribute the points evenly enough, eyeing something bigger than just the sprint points. Petzold on the front right now. If anybody's maybe not working, it's Medar. He's been sitting largely at the back. Bergsma is leading the chase, as is Methode Gilek. Some pretty heavy hitters in the distance skating world. And it's Petzold, Lubinau, and Medar. And of course, tactically for Belgium, Medar may just be sitting and waiting. And if the opportunity comes, go for the win. But he's also just sitting at the back and letting his teammate, Bart Swings, rest up a little bit in the field. So it's a tactical game, perhaps, for Belgium. And Lubinau wagging the finger a little bit. He's having a word with Medar. I don't think he's happy that Medar isn't doing much of the work, but it's a tactical game. Like I just said, if this breakaway lasts, Medar is in for a chance to win the sprint. If the breakaway gets caught, Bart Swings has had a nice little rest in the field, and so it is a clever tactical game for the Belgians. But Timothy Lubinau had a word or two. I think he knows that it's him and Petzold who are doing the work. As they get the bell for the penultimate sprint point. They do still have a healthy advantage. Petzold who will take the sprint points here. Now you feel all bets are off It's the race for the finish. See what the gap is. The camera's trained on the front three. They have at least half a lap anyway. I think Petzold is feeling that elastic stretch a little bit. He's got to stay in that draft. Medard, I think, is now working, perhaps sensing that this one could stay away. Down to 3. Could this be another day for the breakaway? The organization appears to be on in the main field, but now the big question, is it too late? Medard now working with the other two. It's a 10-second gap. The breakaway group is still working together. Now this is starting to get very interesting. They do not appear to be fatiguing too much, does this main group, with the exception of Petzold. It might come down to Lubino or Medard. And they have, I'm going to say 100 meters. 1 lap to go. Now it's on. Petzold, I don't think, is going to stay with them. It's between Medard and Lubino. Can they hang on? What is left in the tank? They've been almost gone since the very beginning. Lubino has a World Cup victory this season in the mass start. Is he going to do it again? Timothy Lubino, the man from France. He leads the dash to the line. Surely it is. Surely it is. Timothy Lubino. What a day in mass start. Lubino. Fridtjof Petzold gets up for second in the end as well. They went pretty much right from the hop. And they hung on. So that is 2 wins in 3. Commits. There's the little warning there. Medard started saying, hey, I've got a teammate. There's some tactics here at play. Lubino just put his head down after that. That was absolutely incredible. Still winning the sprint. Fridtjof Petzold getting up for second. A day for the unexpected. 2 wins this season, and the men in the breakaway celebrating. Lubino, I think it was the first French medal or win in almost 10 years earlier this season. Well, now he's done it twice. The master of the breakaway. Confirmation of the results. Timothy Lubino, Fridtjof Petzold, and Indra Medard on the podium. Lee Sung-hoon getting it for 4th, and Daniele Di Stefano in 5th. Swings 6th, Giovannini 7th.
How far do you want to go? That's okay, we're going to go. We're going to the yellow, eh?
Now he leads the overall standings just ahead of Di Stefano, who's been very consistent. Holworth off the podium for the first time this season. Then Swings and Giovannini rounding out the top 5. I believe I heard the ice resurfacing machines pulling out, getting ready, and indeed they are. And so we'll get their medals, and I think the gift was chocolate, which is nice. But yeah, so it's about 17 minutes, and we'll be back in for the women's team sprints. Soak it in, Monsieur Lubino.
now present the ISU World Cup Speed Skating Victory Ceremony for the winners of the Women's Mass Start.
Mesdames et messieurs, nous présentons maintenant les gagnantes du départ en groupe femmes.
The medals will be presented by ISU representative Mr. Albert Hasselhoff. Our top 3 presenters will also receive delicious custom chocolates from Calgary's own The Chocolate Lab. Presented by Wayne Gaynew, Vice Chair, Speed Skating Canada Board of Directors. And joining the medalists will be Rose Marcelewicz from the Calgary Grizzlies Speed Skating Club and Declan Mark from the Calgary Grizzlies Speed Skating Club as well. In 3rd place. And winner of the bronze medal, achieving 25 points representing Germany, Michelle Uhre. Second place and winner of the silver medal, achieving 43 points in the race, representing China, Jing Wenjiang. In first place, winner of the gold medal, achieving 66 points, representing the United States of America, Greta Myers. Congratulations to our ISU World Cup Speed Skating winner and all of our medalists.
Félicitations à tous les médaillés.
Look at the beautiful smiles on their face. Isn't that exciting? Coming up, ladies and gentlemen, the men's mass start medal ceremony. Stick around. Ladies and gentlemen, we now present the ISU World Cup Speed Skating Victory Ceremony for the winners of the men's mass start.
Mesdames et messieurs, nous présentons maintenant les gagnants du départ en groupe 1.
The medals will be presented by ISU representative Mr. Albert Hasselhoff. Our top 3 skaters will also receive delicious custom chocolates from Calgary's own The Chocolate Lab, presented by Mr. Mark Messer, director of the Olympic Oval. And joining the medalists today are Rose Warsaluwicz and Declan Mark, both from the Calgary Grizzlies Speed Skating Club. And in 3rd place, winner of the bronze medal with 24 points in the mass start, representing Belgium, Indra Medard. In 2nd place and winner of the silver medal, achieving 47 points, representing Germany, Fritjof Petzold. And in 1st place, winner of the gold medal, achieving 67 points, representing his country, France, Timothy Libano. Congratulations to our ISU World Cup Speed Skating winner and all of the medalists.
Félicitations à tous les médaillés.
Yeah, sorry, that was my bad. I was just taping the microphone. Yeah, same with Peter or Chris.
More up here? Or mic test, mic.
Just 2 events left. The women's team sprint coming up. You see the standings right now. That's based on just one World Cup event that was back in Beijing at the end of 2024. And as the standings indicate, it was the Netherlands, Poland, and the United States. 1, 2, 3. There is a look at our pairs. Norway will be off all by their lonesome. Of course, you don't really ever get a look at the team you're up against. You're either doing very well or very poorly if that happens, but they'll have the ice all to themselves. 4 quick heats. And then that is all she wrote this weekend. If you have not seen Team Sprint, 3 skaters start, 1 skater finish after each lap. 1 skater peels off. And so it's a mix of flat out sprinting, but then also that third skater in particular needs some sprint endurance. So here is a look at Norway, who will be by themselves.
Ready.
So the one thing that's also particularly new in the team sprint, I'm sure by now most of, if not all, the teams are doing it. When that third skater goes all by themselves, there's the arm sling. And so the second to last skater, as they peel off and as the second skater, or the last skater goes by, they'll grab their hand and whip them forward. I liken it to, if you've ever seen track cycling, the Madison, where the sling exchange for teammates. So here we go. 1 will peel off. 2 to go. Lap time there, 32.96. What's great about this is that there's time checks every half lap as well. And so by the time the third skater goes, they want to be as fresh as possible. And there's not a lot of unanimity in that Norwegian side. They're sort of at opposite, so not quite maximizing the full draft. And let's see it. Here we go. And there's the sling. And 1 to go. Norway will, of course, set the time to beat. They skated in that opener in Beijing. They skated to 9th place. That was out of 10 teams entered. Czechia had a team entered. Czechia does not have a team entered here. So, and this will be setting the time to beat. 1:29.31. Just comparing, in Beijing, of course, sea level ice, not known for fast sprint speeds. They were 1:32.55. And so that's 1 of 4. Next heat will have 2 teams on the ice. Great look at the sling there. There's a look at Kazakhstan. They are going up against Germany.
And in the finishing straight, we have Team Kazakhstan.
It is Sileeva, Vezhanina, and Morozova. Of course, Kristina Sileeva just putting together a pretty good 500 not too long ago.
Ready.
And they are underway. So Germany has Marlon Esselund, Sophie Warmuth. They have teams put in full rosters, and then they trim it down. And so the 4 on Germany's list: Marlon Esselund, Sophie Warmuth, Anna Ostlander, and Michelle Udig. Of course, trim that down. Udig, of course, just in the team sprint, so I'm not sure if I recognize her out there right now. Both of the teams in the green through the first time check, and they remain with Kazakhstan out in front. Daria Vezhanina right now leading Nadezhda Morozova. And that looking very unified, very synchronized. The stride's the same. And And they're setting up for the sling. Here we go. And there's the last exchange. And at the bell, Kazakhstan, 58.85 right now. They're up by 1.67 seconds. The first World Cup stop, these two teams finished 6th and 7th in their respective races. Kazakhstan in front right now. It's a long sprint. It's just, when I talk about sprint endurance, you're almost at top speed, and yes, you are drafting, but you are still trying to keep a high speed, and so Kazakhstan, 1:26.36. They go fastest by nearly 3 seconds. Look at that sling there. The U.S. men started it last season. And it was one of those, let's take a gamble, let's see what happens. And it paid off. They won that World Cup stop, and then it was literally within 1 week that other teams started to try to do the same thing. And now it's pretty ubiquitous. And Kazakhstan happy with that time. They sit atop the leaderboard right now.
In the finishing
Angelika Wojcik, Kaya Ziomek-Nogal, and Karolina Bosiek for Poland right now. And then the Dutch side, Femke Kok, Suzanne Schulting, and Angel Dalman, the youngster.
Go to the start. Ready.
Just one change from the Dutch roster that opened the season in Beijing. They had Antoinette Reitma de Jong leading things off, and she was even last year an emergency start when there was some sickness at the Beijing stop. Now, this is interesting. I don't think this is what was supposed to happen for the Netherlands. They are completely out of sorts, and yeah, this is not what was supposed to happen. Poland in front right now. It is Kaya Ziomek-Nogal leading the way, ahead of Karolina Bosiek. So it's going to be a new winner anyway, because the Dutch and Polish teams were 1 and 2 in Beijing in December. So the Dutch out of the running this time. It's up to Poland now to see if they can't turn silver into gold. And oh, almost missed the sling there. They get it done. They are in the green by 1.3 seconds. And, well, there is a resurgent Dutch side here. They've closed it up. It is Dalman right now, the supremely talented short and long track skater. Poland has a second to work with. It is Karolina Bosiek leading things around. The Dutch have faded back a little bit more, still sitting in third place actually with one pair to go. And it will be Poland going fastest by just a matter of a few tenths of a second. And so they like that one. The Dutch do manage to salvage third, but right from the gun something was off where one skater just went out too far in front and someone missed a cue somewhere. There might have been an equipment issue, not sure what happened, but we will just see Poland atop the leaderboard now with one pair to go. Oh, there was a fall. I completely missed the fall. She was up very, very quickly. Dalman stopped to look, but the skater on the front, I believe that was Femke Kok, just, she was off. And you can't really hear when that happens. So it might have been Schulting going down. Either way, Poland leads. Good recovery, though, by the Dutch to get up into third. One pair to go. And it is, including the defending world champions, the Canadians going up against China. The U.S. were silver medalists at the World Championships held on this ice last year, but they don't have a team entered here.
Starting
the Chinese
in
side.
finishing straight, give it up for Team China.
Shi Huiyu, Tian Rining, and Han Mei.
Know what's coming next, don't you?
Yu Shi Hui, pardon me.
The crossing straight, Team
Canadian side has Carolina Hiller, Beatrice Lamarche, and Ivani Blondin. Blondin with the yellow armbands. Something of a jack of all trades. Jill of all trades? Is that a term? Anyway, here we go. When the Canadians won the World Championship here a year ago, Beatrice Lamarche was not on the side. It was Madison Pierman, but Hiller and Blondin are still there. The world champions on the ice. Canadians finishing 4th with this exact same trio. I was at that World Cup stop in Beijing in December, and both teams off the pace at the moment. Lamarche takes over for Canada. Currently, the Chinese leading the way. Tian Rining leading round Han Mei. And right now, it is still China in front of Canada. They are sitting 2nd and 3rd right now. This is the race for the podium. There's one pair to go. Han Mei takes over for China. It's a very close pair, and the Canadians in front right now. It was quite the pull by Lamarche, and it's up to Ivani Blondin to finish it. We know she has endurance. She did just also do a mass start race in Canada. Now in the green. Potentially a race for gold for the Canadians. They've been shut out of the medals all weekend long. Chance to finish strong here. It is Canada in front. Will they go to gold? Yes, they will. 1:24.89. So the Canadian side, not the quickest start, but they have the quickest finish. So they celebrate team sprint victory, repeating the feat on the same ice where they won the World Championships back in last March. And one more event still to come. That is the men's team sprint, but a look back at the victorious Canadians. And yeah, they nailed that arm swing. How much of a difference could that have been? The Canadians will get a podium trip for the first time this weekend.
Test. Test.
This is the mighty St. Lawrence River. In 1854, 3 British Army officers raced from Montreal to Quebec City on its frozen surface, marking Canada's first recorded speed skating race. Outdoor ice has long been the cradle of our memories, but as of well worn, the ice generation is slipping through our fingers. There was a time
One more event in Calgary before things wrap up, and the circuit decamps and heads south of the border down into Wisconsin to Milwaukee for next weekend. Men's team sprint, just the second time this event is being done this season. First time was in Beijing, and you see the top three there. They were the top three in Beijing. Of course, the Canadians have the honor of being world champion. 9 teams entered. The Germans will be by themselves this time. So yes, it was Netherlands, USA, and China back in Beijing. Now you know the drill. 3 skaters start, 1 skater finishes. The final exchange has that arm sling at the end. It's like a pretty decent crowd in Calgary this weekend. The facility, said off the top, I think it's 37 years old now. It's supposed to last 25 years, and the building operators this week saying it needs some work, and they're trying to get some money to keep this facility going as it's churned out. It's been a training base not just for Canadians but skaters from elsewhere in the world as well, and it's been a fixture on the international circuit as well as the domestic circuit. Canada, when this Olympic Oval was opened for the 1988 Olympics, it was the only one. Canada now has 3 indoors. Of course, last season in Quebec City hosted a World Cup. There's also one in a little city called Fort St. John in northeast British Columbia. It's actually the 2nd floor of this interesting facility. Anyway, first heat, just Germany. Hendrik Dombeck, Moritz Klein, and Stefan Emmele.
Go to the start. Ready.
Germany did take part in Beijing. They finished 9th out of 9. Hendrik Dombeck wasn't there. The other 2 were Moritz Klein, Stefan Emmele. Germany with a medal already this weekend. And that, just able to stay up. Dombeck losing some balance. How much speed does that cost? Fortunately, at this phase, the back 2 skaters are just trying to skate up behind him so they don't have to slow down and just take over once he peels off. So we'll see how much time that costs. But Moritz Klein now leading the way, and it'll be up to Emmele to finish it. Germany, as I mentioned, just picking up a medal in mass start. Fridtjof Petzold, and here is the sling. The exchange is done before the line. And it is Emmele to try to finish things off. They will, of course, set the time to beat at that World Cup in Beijing. They finished 3.6 seconds past the gold, or behind the gold medal winners from the Netherlands, just to see a quick comparison there. And gritting his teeth, it's a long sprint. That sprint endurance coming into play. Emmele reaches 1:19.77 for the German side. Just comparing, I know again the elevation in Beijing, they did a 1:21.99, so can't quite directly compare the two, but they set the time to beat for the moment. All the other pairs will be, in fact, pairs. No more individual teams, barring any last-second withdrawals, of course.
So, on the finishing straight, give it up for Team
Bear.
Norway.
Paul Myron Christensen, Henrik Ruka, and Bjorn Magnussen on the Norway sprint
On the
side.
crossing straight, say hello to Team
And
Kazakhstan.
Nikita Vigenin, Artur Galiev, and Aldai Jardenbekuli skating for Kazakhstan.
Ready.
Norwegian sprint side. Oh, and there's a fall off the start from the Norwegians, and so that will likely spell the end of their hopes. It was the front skater who went down. I think it was Christensen, and that will just sap all the speed, of course. So we'll keep an eye on Kazakhstan. They're in the green for now. Of the 9 teams that entered in Beijing, they finished 8th. And down goes a Kazakhstan skater, nearly taking out the Norwegians, and I think it was Jardin Bekuli. Is that the 3rd skater? And so both sides, it's ending in heartbreak. And so is this Artur Galiev having to go 2 laps by himself? Yeah, he has no 3rd skater. And so a shrug of the shoulders, not a lot you can do there. Hope everybody's okay. So Norway still has a team on the ice. I guess they did get up. Christensen did get in front. And so Henrik Ruka leading Bjorn Magnussen around. Norwegian side still, the sprint program still trying to refine who might take over the mantle of leadership now that Hove Lorentzen retired. Just able to stay up. Very nearly fell, did Magnussen. And so that means, for the moment, Germany will stay atop the leaderboard. Anything is possible in these races, and so Norway will go to 2nd, a good distance back. There's a litany of things that could go wrong in team sprint, and yeah, so there is Altai Jardenbekuli. He had to get up and do essentially a solo race. Artur Galiev had long since passed, but when you're the 3rd skater, you have to keep going, and for a sprinter, ouch, that hurts. Everybody seems to be fine though. It was very nearly a crash involving both the teams. There's the Norwegian coach, Jeremy Witherspoon, helming that sprint program. And things happen. What matters is they come back in a week, and everybody gets to do their races healthy, because I don't think there's a team sprint next week in Milwaukee. And here is when, Jardin Bekuli goes down on his own and very nearly took out Magnussen. This happens. Learn the lessons now so that you can lead to success at later dates. You can laugh it off now. Lessons learned, and it's like a sight out of short track, bringing out the fire extinguisher to flash freeze the patchwork on the ice. It's a little bit of a delay. So the 3rd pair will have Poland and Korea Republic. There's Witherspoon, the great Canadian sprinter who has pretty much been over in Norway since he retired. Witherspoon has talked about developing the sprint program, because a lot of Norwegian speed skaters, they go into the distance events, and sprinting is a tough challenge sometime. Anyway, they're building after Hove Lorentzen moving on. Marek Kania, Piotr Michalski, and Damian Zurek, Kim Jun-ho, Chu Min-kyu, and Cho Sang-yuk for Korea.
Ready.
These two teams, 5th and 6th in Beijing in December. Poland has pretty much the identical side, and you see here the first skater goes off, and it's up to the two teammates to chase him down because they don't want to be right up behind him. Then there's nowhere to go if there's a sudden drop off in speed. So they enter that slipstream so that right when he pulls off, they're ready to keep top speed. Both teams in the green right now. That's better than Germany's time, of course. The Norwegian Kazakh race is well behind, of course, and so both teams still going 1-2. It's at the moment Korea in front as we get ready for the final exchange. The all-important sling. Here comes Zurek into the race, and it is still Korea in front with Cho Sung-yuk leading things around. It's about 0.4 of a second, and Cho just stays up. Trouble staying up on this ice. The last couple pairs, how much speed will that cost? Now it's Poland in front. Zurek almost 2 seconds ahead of the time set by Germany. And it will be Damian Zurek coming to the line to take it. And yeah, the Korean side stays in the green. Lost a lot of time there on that last lap. They'll slip to second. Over a second back from Poland. A lot of trouble staying up in this team sprint. The ice is a challenge in Calgary. Of course, with the elevation, you get so much more glide than what you might expect at a sea level race. The sling, nicely done from that, and you're already at top speed. And here's what cost Korea quite a bit of time there, just around the corner. And so Poland tops the leaderboard for the moment with 2 pairs still to come. Next up is China, right there.
Give it up for Team China.
Liang Ziwen, Du Haonan, and Liu Bin. 2 and 3.
And over
And
on
for the
the
Netherlands, it's
crossing
Stefan
straight,
Westerbroock,
Team
Yenning
Netherlands.
de Bo, and Tim Prins.
Go to the start. Ready.
The Dutch side, winners of the only other World Cup stop in Beijing. Same team for that occasion. Westenbrook, De Bo, and Prins. China has made 1 change from that side. Liu Bin is in. No, pardon me. It's Liang Ziwen. Liang Ziwen leading the way. They had Ning Zhongyan in at the previous stop, and China not looking like they've got this one together. It's not getting a lot of the draft is Liu Bin. The Dutch, silver medalists from the World Championships in Calgary last March, winners of the only other World Cup stop. They are in the green at the moment, and this is, I think, China pulling the chute here. They try to get an arm sling in. Can they get the exchange in before the line? They kind of do. Either way, it's the Netherlands in front right now. It is Tim Prins to finish things off. That is a look at Liu Bin, but Tim Prins in front. The lead is coming down a little bit. It was quite a lap by Zurek. And to the line, just by 0.04 of a second. The Netherlands hang on. China will have to settle for 5th for the moment with 1 pair still to come. So the Dutch just by a few hundredths of a second top the leaderboard. Poland within striking shot of a medal. They were 5th in December. It's the Battle of North America is what it is. Of course, the Canadians, world record holder in this, they actually set it back at the World Championships last March at the Calgary Olympic Oval. So let's keep an eye on that. 1:17:17
And the men's.
is the world record.
As the teams head to the start line,
It's actually, the Dutch are not far off, and there is a look at
And
Canada.
in the finishing
Laurent
straight,
Dubreuil,
you know
Anders
who they are.
Johnson,
Give it up for Team
and Connor
Canada.
Howe. Just one change from that world record side. They had Antoine Gélina Beaulieu in there. He is not here. Austin Kleba, Cooper McLeod, and Zach Stoppelmoor.
Go to the start. Ready.
And the U.S. were silver medalists in the only other World Cup event this season with this exact same side. And so the current world champions, the current world record holders in the team sprint on the ice, and it's Laurent Dubreuil, the engine on the train right now. Both of the sides are in the green, though, as we do know Poland really came on late. The Dutch really faded late, and so it's not the swiftest of openings. Canada 0.3 of a second off the pace. The U.S. half a second, sitting 4th and 6th right now. They're getting set up. The inventors of the sling getting ready for the move they started. McLeod to Stoppelmoor to finish things off. The team in blue, both with some work to do. And they are well adrift right now. 7/10 of a second for the U.S. Canada over a second behind. Connor Howe, middle distance skater to be sure. So if you want to have anything with that endurance, it is him. And it's the U.S. closing right up right now. It's a matter of a few hundredths of a second. Canada still almost 9/10 of a second off the pace. Zach Stoppelmoor trying to bring the U.S. the victory, and he does! 1:16.97. Hold up. That is a new world record. Record-setting day for the United States. 2 days in Calgary, 2 world records. And it's a gold medal for the United States. Canadians going to 4th, 1:17.75. But they did not start quickly. They really, really found their feet. And Stoppelmoor given the baton, so to speak, and he just went with it. Hopefully children in the room don't read lips. Let's just say he said, "Let's go." So there you have it, 1:16.98. The Canadian record, or the Canadian, it was set at the World Championships last year. It was last February, actually. 1:17.17, and so Fastest time ever skated in the men's team sprint, 1:16.98.
And the men's will fall.
So they are going to do one final round of medal presentations, and then we will sign things off from Calgary.
Ladies and gentlemen, we now present the ISU World Cup Speed Skating Victory Ceremony. For the winners of the women's team pursuit.
Mesdames et messieurs, nous présentons maintenant les gagnantes du sprint par équipe femmes.
The medals will be presented by ISU representative Mr. Albert Hasselhoff. Our top three skaters will also receive delicious custom chocolates from Calgary's own The Chocolate Lab, presented by Katrina LeMay Doan, Speed Skating Canadian alumni and Olympic champion. And joining the medalists will be Nina Ireland from the Calgary Grizzlies Speed Skating Club and Elliot Whitehead from the Calgary Speed Skating Association. In third place and winner of the bronze medal, skating a time of 1:26.36. Team Kazakhstan, made up of Kristina Saleva, Dara Lazanina, and Nadia Morozova. And in second place, the winner of the silver medal in the women's team sprint, not team pursuit, team sprint, skating a time of 1:26.02. Give it up for Team Poland. Angelika Wojcik and Karolina Boszak. And in first place, winner of the gold medal, skating a time of 1:24.90. You know this country well and these legends well, Team Canada! David Blondin, gold medalist, team sprint. Oh, Canada. Congratulations to our Canadian winner and all the other medalists.
Félicitations à tous les médaillés.
and gentlemen, we now have the final presentation of the ISU World Cup Speed Skating, and it's the victory ceremony for the winners of the men's team sprint.
Mesdames et messieurs, nous présentons maintenant les gagnants du sprint par équipe homme.
The medals will be presented by ISU representative one more time, Mr. Albert Hasselhoff. Our top 3 skaters will also receive delicious custom chocolates from Calgary's own The Chocolate Lab, presented by Gaëtan Boucher, Speed Skating Canada alumni and Olympic champion. And accompanying the medalists will be Nina Ireland from the Calgary Grizzlies Speed Skating Club and Elliot Whitehead from the Calgary Speed Skating Association. In 3rd place and winner of the bronze medal, skating a time of 1:17:58, give it up for Team Poland. Members of the Team Poland team are Damian Zurek, Piotr Michalski, and Marek Kania. Team Poland, bronze medal. In 2nd place and winner of the silver medal, skating a time of 1:17:54, Team Netherlands. Team Netherlands is made up of Stefan Westenbroek, Jenny de Boer, and Tim Prins. And in 1st place and winner of the gold medal, skating a world record time of 1:16:98, Team United States of America. Give it up for Austin Kleba, Cooper McLeod, and Zach Stoppelmoor. Congratulations to our ISU World Cup Speed Skating winner and all the medalists.
Félicitations à tous les médaillés.
That about wraps things up from Calgary in the Olympic Oval. Good day for the United States, picking up 3 gold medals. Jordan Stolz does it again. World record time for the men's team sprint. And Greta Myers, the surprise gold medal in the women's mass start. Also a good day for Timothy Lubineau of France, picking up his 2nd mass start gold of the World Cup season. The Canadian women getting Canada on the board, very nearly being shut out at home at a World Cup, but they did pick up gold in the women's team sprint. So pretty fun weekend all around, filled with world records and track records, all kinds of accomplishments. A look back at the men's team sprint final, I will take my leave and sign off. That'll be it from Calgary for the season. Next weekend, the World Cup season resumes in Milwaukee, Wisconsin in the United States. I hope you enjoyed everything over the course of this weekend. Lots more racing to come this season. My name is Gavin Day. Goodbye.